We live.
Are we? No way. What you see in my little icon? What you see in my little icon?
I saw it.
You saw my little thumbnail?
In the YouTube.
Yeah, you saw that? That's funny, huh? Sorry, I'm being corny. I know people were like, that's dorky. I know. I'm just doing stuff.
They hear you.
I don't care. Shoot, this is real life.
Come on, Dork Master.
You gotta go to 100 people. They know the rules.
Oh,
These my priz ops. What's going on, David Buds? What's going on, Teresa? Big Law. What's up, Craig? Wheezy, gang. Enrique, turn your phone down, please.
oh, I'm sorry.
So Shanta, Mike, Jordan, Billy Massey, Wanda Andrews. Only in the hood, gang all day. Robert G, we got 72 people. Steve, yo. Janelle, Carol, Jordan, Russell, Kurt Camille, Denise, Shanta, Deborah, Margarita. Oh, look at Ben tuning in. Look at you, Ben. Love you, brother. Love you too, man. Already got me twerking like a stripper. Paul, man. Shout out Paul. Steve. Oh, Rubio White, man. Come on, y'all. Let's get this party started. Greg Bauer. Sheila Wallace. Thank you. For real. Thank you. Man, I can't believe the love early on in the game. Sam Locke, man. Stay encouraged. Danny. What's the deal, baby? Bethany. Shout out my fam. Frank Canada. Shout out my Can fam. Lynette Leon. You know what it is. Always Lynette. I already see all the positivity coming from Lynette all the time. So many of all of y'all all the time. Teresa too, thank you. Wanda too. Sammy D always on my side. Lisa, man, shout out Major. I gotta stop call time out for real quick, right, y'all? Shout out Lisa Bradley for this show. Cause without Lisa having a few hours of time on her hands and Google Translate to transcribe 50 pages and charts and everything. I just gotta say thank you. I know so many of you send me news and I have to read through all of it to find what's viable. But I also have to look at what people I think are gonna wanna know because we're only doing this show once a week. You know what I'm saying? So like, everybody knows what's going on with the PM. The PM's old news now, right? So like, people wanna be progressive. Tell me what's going on. So Lisa got, no. Y'all, man, thank you guys, man. You guys don't wanna hear me shout about likes. That's what y'all don't wanna hear. Y'all don't hear me talk about likes. Y'all don't hear me talk about.
Be safe, no.
Be safe out there too.
He's one of our essentials.
Yes. And where was I going with this? I forgot.
So you said Lisa Bradley, shout out to her because she did some translating.
50 pages.
Oh, okay.
From the CBI website. It took her like half a day, like all last night into today. And was screenshotting me. She was feeding me like 15 pages at a time. And she was like, are you done? I was like, no. Are you done? No. And then I was done like at 30 pages. And she was like, well, there's more. Mm-hmm. And I was like, nah. And then it just boomed. The bomb started coming to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, you got to kind of read into it for what it is. But I hope everybody, man, I just really want to shout her out and say thank you for that real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because Bethany sends me a lot of news. Marky sent me a lot of news. A lot of people send me news, but like this right here, everybody's talking about the PM and what could happen and should happen or the excuse why it didn't happen, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you what the CBI is talking about the options, how they feel about the rate, about the dollar value, everything. That's what I want to talk about. That's what the CBI is talking about. And this was on the Arabic side, not the English side, so this ain't so easy to comprehend. Bethany, shout out. Man, y'all tipping me like a stripper. We gonna have to go and play this music, man. Y'all are too kind. Man, the best gang in America. The best, I will call y'all the Get Along Gang. America. Woo! God bless my team. And Daisy, you just want film time.
Mm-hmm. That's what Daisy had. You see it in her beard?
Cake.
Yep. She had strawberry cake. And she liked it too.
Hey Miss B, hey Mr. Brando, hey Rita, hey Cassandra Black. Yeah, we about to get paid, y'all. I really do believe that. If y'all about to lose the faith, y'all, please go back to the news. Let the news be your guiding light. Don't let one person be your inspiration. Because I'm kind of like church on Sundays. I'm once a week. You know what I'm saying? Let your inspiration come from the news. And like that's why I've been preaching it over a year. Read, man, read. Ain't nothing wrong with reading and picking up an article. And if you don't understand, hit your uncle, Mr. Brando. We can talk about it. They're going to post my information. Oh, Steve. Oh.
Nope, that's Steve B.
Oh, Steve B? What? Tipping me like, y'all going to make me get them twerk. I got my good thongs on tonight. Man. Lisa, man, coming with the ones and twos. Bethany with a lot of support, man. A lot of y'all, Nicole, a lot of y'all with a lot of support. You know, even Ms. Vivi's a lot of support. I can't stress y'all the effort it goes in to make this show work. And with that, y'all know how it is. We do the show once a week now. 2s are good, 5s are okay, and I'm looking always for. Those are what I live for.
You talking about your wait, 2? You said 2s are okay.
2s are the best.
Okay.
5s are good. I don't really like 6s. No, 6s are pretty good. I don't like the other one, the 7s maybe. Yeah, I don't like those. Those suck.
Those are like a fart.
Yeah. I like that one too.
Long exaggerate. So 7s is like a fart.
Okay, so let's start this off.
There we go.
When I last let you guys left, we told everybody a little bit about what was going on in the PM, and I started the whole thing off with, look, they're going to change PMs, don't get upset, it's going to happen, and guess what? Boom, it happened. Now, the new PM comes in and says, look, we're going to change, we're going to do all this stuff, and guess what? You're going to sit there and take it. And guess what we're doing?
So it did happen?
Yeah, they changed PMs. Zafari is the new PM.
Oh, okay. See, I've been busy.
Yeah, you've been working. See, you ain't been on the virus vacation. You've been actually doing work.
No, I'm working harder now than before.
I know, right? So a lot, like the guy before him, he's gone.
Okay.
The mean mug guy.
Yeah.
So he's gone. Potato Head guy's been gone.
Right, we know that.
Okay, so Zafari, the guy that had like the real serious stare, he's gone. Now Kazemi is gonna be the man.
And Kazemi and Robert De Niro boys though, right?
Robert De Niro.
Well, the meat mugger.
Yeah. Robert De Niro. I know we
I'm
call him nicknames, y'all. We got nicknames for all these fools.
Okay.
Yeah. So now let me give you a little thing. So Zafiri was the straw man for Kazemi, right?
Okay.
So Kazemi, Zafiri are good friends.
Mm-hmm.
So Kazemi got Zafiri to do all the legwork.
Mm-hmm.
Promised him a position, supposedly the position of Minister of Interior, very important position. Minister of Interior, Minister of Finance, CBI Governor, Minister of Defense, very important roles in the CBI Governor, right? So we know that certain players are going to get certain positions.
Right.
So we know that already. So anyway, this guy's already come out. He came out and he's like, dude, I only need 2 weeks to form a government. I don't need a month.
Because he's going to use Z's.
Exactly.
Right.
Robert De Niro's spot, right? So he's got it on lock. So he's like, dang, I got it already. I'm good. So he's been having meetings, and he met with Mike Pompeo. He met with Pence. He met with a bunch of people his last few weeks. He's been doing his thing.
Okay.
American Coalition for it. I mean, he's been doing his thing, meeting with the Iranian. No, he skipped a meeting with the Iranian general. He skipped a meeting with the Iranian liaison. But you don't really know if he did it. You just know he skipped it formally, right?
Okay.
But what you do know is he's head set on limiting the arms in Iraq, right? Mm-hmm. So he's not with the militia stuff. The militias are up in arms anyway right now. People are like, the militias are in disarray. Truly they are. Mm-hmm. Like they're going crazy. They don't have any leadership. They don't know who's leading them. They're doing crazy stuff. They're more like gangs now than militia, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I think Pence is there, and I think that's why Pompeo was there. I think they were, or excuse me, I don't know if Pompeo was there. I can't remember. No, Pompeo was there, and Pence was there. And I know that.
Was there.
I know Pence was there. I can't remember if Pompeo was actually there. If someone could give me a thumbs up on that one, just to make sure I'm right. I thought he was there because my thumbnail for Patreon was Pompeo was there with him.
Was Pompeo there, you guys? I remember Pence.
I know Pence was. I don't know if Pompeo was, but I know Pence was. But anyway.
Okay. So he got the cabinet on lock. He's going to use Robert D's people. Right.
So now he's like, I only need 2 people. So they've been sending over all these files, trying to pressure him to do everything, blah, blah, blah. And right now, it's kind of like, okay, we just kind of waiting for this dude to kind of do his thing, right? There's articles that came out today that were pretty much without any indiscretion, this guy's cabinet will pass before Ramadan. They're talking about next week passing his cabinet.
April 23rd.
Before April 23rd. That's Ramadan. Before then, he's going to pass, okay? We know oil tanked the other day, 10% less. We know the stock market was fluttering We know digital space was So this is where we are. So now the only people we haven't heard from really is who? The Central Bank of Iraq and Ali al-Awlaq, right?
Right.
So I wanted to start the report off with that. I want to make my focal point of this week's report on the CBI and Ali al-Awlaq, okay?
Okay.
So there's a lot of evidence out there today from economics as well as now the CBI as to what's going on with the exchange rate and the auctions and the value of the dinar against the dollar. And why is there so much volatility between the two? The CBI has come out recently and gave a full-fledged report, and I want to go over that report with you because I think we all know what's going on with the PM. Or we have a pretty good idea, so it's no sense beating a dead drum over and over after show after show. Let's cover different things. I think it's imperative that we grow and we look at things as a whole. And I think it's more important that we look at the banking sector because I know it's not being covered in this space. Okay?
Pence was there.
Pence was there. Okay, good.
And
I know Pence was there. Was Pompeo there?
He said, and some other dude. No.
Scalia.
Scalia.
I might have seen that right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you. Now, the Central Bank of Iraq announced on today, Wednesday, the selection of the Arab Monetary Fund is Governor Ali Mohsen Ismail as the chairman of the Fund Board of Governors. The bank said in a statement, which was received by the Arab Monetary Fund elected in accordance with the decision number 1 for the year 2020, the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Ali Mohsen Ismail, as chairman of the Board of Governors of the fund. So as of Wednesday, Ali al-Awlaq took over the Arab Monetary Fund. So he is, I don't know if he can do both jobs or he has to step away from one, but don't you think it quite interesting that with everything going on with the exchange rate, with the dinar, volatilely speaking, and him all of a sudden possibly switching jobs or leaving his current position, and what that does to the Iraqi dinar and its stability, or what does that have to do with Kazini and its new government, right? So now with knowing that, the window for the sale of foreign currency in the Central Bank of Iraq, the CBI foreign currency sale window, in CBI Forward, the mechanisms, the methods of forms financing foreign trade are at the forefront of which imports part of the monetary authority activities, streamline guarantees, and protection of the national currency. And there are 2 different entries for financing. Number 1, financing imports to the private sector through accounts. The sector itself is in foreign currency to open banks, especially since the sector has previously strengthened its balance in foreign securities and currencies due to export earnings, which is practically taking place in countries with a wide and diversified private export sector. Now, I spoke about this on Patreon the other day, that the private sector needs to take a more prominent role, and they need to take it through another diversification, not natural gas, not through any petrochemical field. They need to look at diversifying the market, whether it be telecommunication, whether it be securities market. They need to do those things because their plate is really small right now, right? Mm-hmm. Now, other than that, there's only one surefire thing that the economics been always talking about now for the last 2 weeks solid. They've been talking about doing how they've done away with the currency auctions and how the auctions have been propping up an otherwise non-existent private sector. And on the other half of that, doing away with the dollar within the market space, encouraging dinar use within that space, and exploring the economy with only using the dinar and exiting the dollar as usage. Okay? The financing pattern of the imports. Now remember, Iraq is a rentier government, right? Now that has a whole different meaning, but they're also a very much an import government.
Say that again. What was the first part you said? There are a what?
A rentier government.
Rentier.
Rentier. R-E-N-T-I-E-R.
What does that mean?
It means that they're basically only dependent on one thing. Like here, I'll give you a formal definition.
So what? That would be oil?
Yeah, but there's more to that definition. Let me give you the real definition. Define a rentier state is in which a state derives all of substantial portions of its national revenues from the rent of indigenous resources such as oil. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's dependent on basically one thing.
Right.
Right? So they've been trying to rid themselves of the USD. And it's evident because they haven't been having the auctions for a while, since 316. Now, you've seen auctions taking place, cleaning up old stuff, but you haven't seen the auctions actually selling any dollars, right?
Right.
So with that, the financing patterns of imports, because they got to import or supposedly import everything. But remember, if you guys are keeping up with the Iraqi news, all you've seen that imports in the market space are diminishing. They're starting to use a whole bunch more agricultural and local commerce to sustain the marketplace. Now, the article states the financing patterns of imports makes the central bank as a financing agency for private sector imports, the owners of accounts in commercial banks, in dinars. Rather, it goes beyond that to finance the imports or self-finance governments' companies as well. At the same time, the central bank is responsible for managing the monetary block in dinars by buying dinars through the financing imports in dollars. So what that means is when they receive petrodollars, they've got to buy those dollars from the finance market, right? The Ministry of Finance, and have that exchanged into dinars as they want to see usage. So, and therefore, the finance function has been linked to the function of the monetary stability through the controlling monetary block, and from then inflation. Therefore, a window for selling foreign currencies is considered B, the administrative framework for financing imports and achieving sterilization mechanism at the same time. So remember, what it does is it helps keep the imports low because they have dollars in the market space, but those dollars are not supposed to go to individuals. Those dollars are supposed to go to banks. Banks and private sector people that are passed by OFAC, which are also guaranteed by our Federal Reserve. So, as we know, those dollars are not supposed to get leaked to Iran or any other terrorist group. So when people says Iran is stealing, therefore, guess what? The United States then, in fact, is allowing them to steal because they're supposed to be on a list from OFAC. Okay? Now, the first jurisdiction, the laws and principles governing the process of selling the foreign currency. The dollar, the process of selling foreign currency. The dollar through the... Now, notice every time they talk about the dollar, they say it twice. When they talk about the dinar, they say it twice. They do that to make sure that there's no mistake and you differentiate between the dollar and the dinar. When they want you to think of the dinar in dollars, they tell you, meaning a dollar is a dinar. Or they want you to understand that the dollar is a dollar, they say a dollar is a dollar. Or a dinar, simply put, is a dinar. Am I making sense? I'm just reading this verbatim, right?
Okay. Pompeo was there on Easter Day.
Okay, good. Thank you for that clarification also, gang. Thank you for keeping me honest. The dollar, the process of selling foreign currency in dollar through the Central Bank of Iraq window is governed by laws. The principle, the Central Bank Law number 56, which an article of which limited open market operations and existing faculties, including what is mentioned in paragraph B. Simple unconditional cash or forward sale of foreign exchange and margin department was canceled external in this time in line with the article. So now they're telling that they canceled the currency off. There you go, baby. That's my girl. It should be noted that in the 80s, the foreign transfer was stopped to cover imports after the depletion of foreign currency reserves. So now, hit it again, baby. You actually know now that by running the auctions, you deplete your foreign currency reserves. That's why Iraq stopped running the auctions. Not because of some sinister plan, because now they need to turn on the dinar within their own market space. Man, she's getting good at this.
Vanna Black.
Now, here's the crazy part, right? The foreign transfer was stopped to cover imports after the depletion of foreign currency reserves, which led to the creation, great chaos in the Iraqi market, the emergence of a black exchange market, price distortions, and a runaway inflation reached 2 decimal places. So think about it. It's already artificially sufficiently corrected by 2 spaces. Now that's why they have 4 decimal points. Get it? It's 0.00084. Now you know why. 2 of them are artificially suppressed by the auctions. 2 of them are artificially suppressed by this right here. Big shot. Salute, brother. Thank y'all. Appreciate the love. For real, I really appreciate the love. Thank you. I'm just reading what they wrote. You know what I'm saying? I just got to read all day. I'm just being real. Now, external transfers in the same time in line with, you guys, this is getting better. Okay, the Black Exchange. Now, wasn't there an IMF recent years, the very same people that told the CPI governor to stop the currency auction because of its corruption nature and how they weren't managing to keep a hold of corruption? How is that possible? How did it slip through Iraq's Central Intelligence Agency and OFAC? Because they were trying to make deals to start what's called a free market economy. They go on to put in the paragraph next to it, which put the Iraqi economy in the framework of a free market economy. It wants to have competition, freedom, support for private sector activities, and this entails the activation of market laws, including the supply and demand. There it is again, that term, free market, and thus supply and demand. Hence, they're talking about currency or equal value of other currencies. You can't have an undervalued currency and be involved in either supply and demand within your own market space or be involved in a free market economy. Man, I've been quarterbacking this so long, I feel like Brady. The primary monetary policy function is to control the monetary block in order to target inflation with the target levels to achieve general stability in prices. The primary goal of monetary policy is that all central banks need to purchase, withdraw the Iraqi dinar from the market to maintain stability within the bloc. Trade of the government pumps more than $8 trillion per month. $8 trillion per month, okay? In form of salaries and purchases, and the central bank exercises its role of sterilization. Sterilization means whatever purchasing power that $8 trillion would represent, by then pumping money into the auctions, they sterilize it, make it none and void. They're artificial killing their own purchasing power. By stopping the auctions, now you know they were trying to create what? I'm just reading the list. The accumulation of the blocks will lead to hyperinflation or more inflation. On the other hand, the central bank withdraws the amounts. There is a dinar to be exchanged for the dollar with the government. Wait a minute. Can I get a number 2 for that one? Let me read that one more time. Hold on. There is a dinar to be exchanged for a dollar with the government. That's exactly what it says. There is a dinar to be exchanged for a dollar with the government. And all I do is copy paste.
Okay.
The role of the central bank is achieving balance that dictates the response to demands, and not only foreign currency, but its full response. This request is derived from budget expenditures. What did I tell you about that budget? You gotta see what's in the budget to understand budget allocations. And once you understand how they're allocating the budget, I can tell you who's being paid and not being paid, and I can tell you the value of the currency. Now, the role of the central bank is achieving a balance that dictates the response to the demands for foreign currency and full response. And this request is derived from the budget expenditures and not from what the bank gets from dollars from the Ministry of Finance. And it is commonly a mistake to compare the government revenue from the dollar sales from the dollar, as some assume that sales must be identical or a less revenue from the dollar based upon the premises that the government imports are determined mainly from the sale of oil. So they're saying that their economy is worth so much more than just the sale of oil. Mm-hmm. That's why they can shut off the auctions. That's why they're not worried about paying people. That's why they're doing all this crazy stuff in a time of complete crisis. You want to know why?
Why?
Because they just told you. Our money is worth more. We can assume that sales must be identical or less than the revenue from the dollar. It says it right there. From the dollar, based upon the premises that the government imports. They only import basically export one thing, which is oil. So there's only one stream of revenue. The only other thing that they actually be determined mainly from the sale of oil, so they have to be lower. They have to be. How else can they cover the exports and imports not by the sale of a dollar? Has to be worth a dollar. Because they can say it could be a dollar or less and they can still cover it. So the dinar's got to be way worth more than a dollar. See where I'm going with this? These are their words. Now, there is thinking that the government does not spend more than its oil revenues. Where does this request from? The dollar. Here it is clear. The demand for the dollar comes from the local currency in dinar. And the amount offered from the dollar comes from local currency is not only a source from the Ministry of Finance, replacing its dollar resource with the dinar. But there is a government spending covering from the transfers from Treasury, bonds, and local loans from government banks and external loans. For example, the total from which the government borrowed in recent years from the aforementioned sources is about 35 trillion external internal approximates to cover the deficit. And this amount is mostly converted to demands for goods and services, which are mostly imported in the currency of dollar. And so the link at the central bank, the link of oil vendor, is inaccurate. It did not take into account the money supply derived from its source mentions, as well as the loans account for the banks and the private sector. They didn't take into account the money supply. The money supply is the dinar, not the dollar. They work in dinars. They didn't take that into account when they looked at the $1 trillion deficit because they can cover that in dinar. They couldn't cover it in dollars, but they can cover it in dinar. Now, they've already told you the dinar is worth way more than the dollar, but they collect their fees in dollars. So they transfer that in dinars, and they now, in fact, know that that money's worth more than the dollar. It could be therefore or less. They say it. Now, the large drop in oil prices is not accompanied by the decrease in the share of foreign companies, because these companies charge their share of production extracting oil, because these companies charge their share of production amount regardless of the price per barrel. And this means a direct and sharp decrease in the dollar resource of the government, and then a decrease in the amount of dollar to the central bank as about $10 per barrel goes, regardless. So they're telling you right there, it doesn't matter what oil sells for on the open market, it's automatically $10 less, minusing extraction and holding. And if we look into the accounts, it is approximately 25 to 15% from the dollar resources, which goes directly to the Ministry of Finance. Now, at this point, you guys should all be sitting there saying, well, heck, the Ministry of the Finance is getting over. No, they're not. They've got to ask permission to the Fed to transfer that money from dollars to dinars, then request a transfer to get it sent over. So do you see what I'm saying? It's a stranglehold. They can't sell oil. You can't transfer your petrodollars into dinars. Your dinars are worth more than dollars, but you need the dollars to stimulate the dinars or sterilize them if you're selling them. The U.S. government doesn't want to send Iraq. This is what's going on. The U.S. government doesn't want to send Iraq dollars to the Fed because they don't want it to sell it to the auction, because they know it sterilizes the value of the dinar. And they're stopping that. Okay? That's what's happening. No phantasm, no crap, just the news. See, the mechanism for the stabilization of the money supply in the currency window is the dollar. So, as I've stated many times, to curb inflationary measures and to set the price, that will help lessen the function of the monetary policy, and by helping the exchange rate, they need to fix the nominal anchor for the monetary policy inside of Iraq, which is the dinar, and which the most oil countries' policy that share them in using their national currency, and not fixate them on the petrodollar, but on the monetary policy inside of the oil countries. Said no earlier when I said Ali Allah took over what? The Arab Monetary Fund, which most oil countries peg their national currencies to. I could stop reading now. I'm basically done. But I ain't done. There's a whole bunch more down this rabbit hole to go.
Okay, I'll wait.
You'll wait? Do I have a few more minutes to kick my rhymes?
Go ahead. And we got some questions for you.
Oh, you got some questions?
But
let me take a question or two. Come. Woo!
Okay, you want
Give me a question.
So Rick wants to know, why would they stop the ISX? There's no reason for it to be closed.
I was on the phone with my broker the other day. They never stopped no ISX.
So it's open.
They stopped ISX for people that don't think they did. But people that got accounts with the ISX, I bought shares the other day. Dude, come, I ain't gonna tell you my plug, but I'll tell you this. I was on the phone with ISX. Ask Bethany. If I'm lying, I'm done. I was on the phone with ISX 2 days ago. You can buy shares all day. They stopped hand-to-hand movement. They're trying to get an electronic system in place so they don't have to be in touch with each other. It's called 19. It's stopping business as we know forward. But you can buy ISX all day. Whoever told you ISX ain't operating, don't deal with the ISX. Tell them to call my broker if they need a plug. I know somebody to help them out.
Okay, the other question was, can you buy eDinar?
No, I wouldn't buy it.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't buy it.
And remember, I've covered this on a prior show, that I had done some research and I wouldn't recommend.
I wouldn't buy eDinar. I wouldn't buy Tundar. I wouldn't buy the other one, the one that Saudi's doing with Turkey. Or not Saudi, it's Saudi doing with somebody else. I wouldn't buy that one either. I wouldn't buy any of their digital space right now until they get it worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, because remember when I called or tried to get somebody on the helpline, you couldn't get anybody and it was canned answers. Mm-hmm. And that, I'm sorry, I want my money to be safer than that. Mm-hmm. So, that is that. And I think you can go back to reading now.
Y'all ready for some more?
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
I mean, those were the questions that were out there that were early on, and I told them I'd get to them when we took a break. So
if you're gonna be in the investment, be in it. That means establish you some connections all over the place. Get you a person to talk to somebody everywhere. And I didn't have this plug until a month ago. Shout out one of my Patreon for hooking me up. And it ain't even like I set up the account. I just made friends with somebody at the bank that I could talk to on a daily basis because I had a bunch of questions and I'm friendly, so they talk to me.
Oh, Sammy D wants to know before you start reading, should we be watching the CBI?
We watch them right now. That's what this whole show's about.
Okay.
This is all from the CBI. Every word I'm reading, except for the first article I read, this is all CBI.
Rick said the ISX website shows closed as of 3/16/2020.
Look, it's closed to the general public, but if you have a broker or know how to establish a brokerage account, I'm not going to endorse how you do that. You can go out there and research it for yourself. Instead of asking Mr. Brando how to do something, I'm going to encourage you to go do a little research. If you know how to go do those things, you can establish an account right now. Okay? I don't care what the ISX account says. Go do your own homework. Be your own person means be your own homework. Okay? Because I did it the other day, and I was like, yeah, it's good. We're good. Okay, good.
In all the things that you read, Mr. B, has anyone ever said or hinted on the rate?
At what the rate is? No, but a change in rate, yes. Definitively a change in rate.
And did they mention, they didn't say it would change for $1, but you know it's got to be greater than $1, right?
Yeah.
Like just what you just
read.
Just
what I just read already, they say it's got to be greater than $1. Mm-hmm. I know that for sure.
At least that's what I gathered when I was listening to you.
And they tell you.
Okay.
They don't care if it's $1 or less. The value of the dinar is still greater than. They just told you. I just read it to you earlier.
Yeah.
And Daisy's so excited.
She's hyper today.
It's that cake you gave her.
Cake.
So, let's skip the part, because I see you guys are getting bored with this.
So when will they show it's equal to $1?
When they reinstate the rate. When I told you everything else that has to go forward. So that's a pretty, I don't want to sound rude, but you got to do the other things before this.
Right.
But don't you think it's funny that the CBI is putting the cart before the horse? You have to do a little bit what's called critical thinking. Why would the CBI start talking about things that are going to happen and not talking about things that could happen? In buying dollars in oil revenues from the Ministry of Finance, the monopoly of the dollar to provide the dinar as a payment for local expenditures, salary wages, operation, and investment packages in exchange for financing imports and foreign exchange currency currency through dependence, LC, and wire remnants, and little cash proportions. And therefore, there is no alternative to this mechanism, not only in Iraq, but also countries whose foreign currency revenues come from government exports. As in case with oil countries, and the size of this role depends. Foreign currency sales over foreign currency markets provide. That means the private exports and transfers from abroad and others. So what they're saying is there's a lot of countries out there that currencies aren't as valued as high as they should be, but because they do depend on currency auctions to survive because of the oil markets, guess what? This is just the way it goes. Now, as you go on a little bit further, it says the fix option. It says the central bank to totally exit from the sale. That is, the central bank not buying the dollar from the Ministry of Finance and not reselling it. The Ministry of Finance sells it directly through one of those options, establishing a company affiliated with the ministry that handles sales to sales outlets, bank sales offices, or do not selling it. Selling it through only affiliated banks, Rafidian, Rashid, Iraqi Commercial. Only negative positives the central bank can purchase, which exceeds the market's need, and the process of pumping into the market when there is no imbalance in price. The exchange would increase to the dinar, or buying it through the market when the dollar exchange rate falls. You see how they said use it to pump up the dinar and don't use it when it makes the dollar exchange rate higher. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Dispelling the misconceptions about foreign currency reserves. The International Monetary Fund reserves this motion, describing the Ministry of Finance as a non-competent body. Needs arrangements and approvals from the American Treasuries and the American Federal Reserve Bank, which needs reassurances about controlling the movement of the dollar in accordance with international and American laws, especially in the areas of embargo on states, companies, people, and the financing of terrorism, which is controlled through that system. Between it and the Central Bank of Iraq, this is necessary because the federal bank is the only one that supplies the central bank with dollars. So anybody out there that says Iran steals, hit it again. Iran steals. Your U.S. government allows them to steal. I'm sorry. Your U.S. government allows them to steal. It's exactly right. They're the only one that supplies them with dollars. They're the only one that has the check and balance in place with Iraq in selling the dollars. So they're aiding them in selling the dollar. So you don't like it. I know that's probably going to make a few people upset, but you know what? That's your U.S. government. And that's not just this administration. This goes all the way back to Bush. So you ask yourself, why hasn't this changed? Why don't you simply write your U.S. congressman? They're adding 2 decimal points on the reinstatement process. It's true. Now, this is the absolute best part. How long is this before I just take nothing but questions? How long are we
You got, it's 7:41.
Okay, this is the last part. I'll save the next reading. I might do it during the day on Friday. I'll do it during the day so I don't cut into Patreon's time. So I got a whole different report for Patreon. Okay. Because Patreon's report's even more off the nizzle than this. Okay? I got something crazy for Patreon. Something that I got a rumor, but I got to prove it. Okay? About Vietnam. And if I prove it, I'm going to show y'all it's off the nizzle. The 6th option, the devaluation of the Iraqi dinar. And then they put in parentheses, raising the value of the dinar. Raising the exchange rate from the dollar may lead to a decrease in the demand for the dollar. And on the other hand, it holds the public budget higher amounts that the Ministry of Finance currently charges by replacing the dollar with greater amounts of dinar. That raising the exchange rate, the dollar will only lead to a decrease in individual demand for the dollar without affecting the total demand for it, as additional amounts the Ministry of Finance will receive in dinars, which will be pumped back into the market. This will eventually buy the same amount of dollars in according to the new price, resulting in inflation being taken care of, cutting to part of the government procurement, which requires increased spending. Bigger than that. That's freaking nuts. If you don't understand what I'm reading, then simply check out now. I'm done.
Okay.
Taking the dollar out of the market space. Do you not just hear what I just said? Raising the value of the dinar, raising the exchange rate of the dinar could lead to demand for the dollar. The CBI just said that. Why would they say that? Why? What possible? What? I mean, I'm not even asking for a like. What are they? What plausibly would they say that for? Like, why do they have to say that? Like, what would that really do for them? Like, Daisy, do you know? Come here, tell me. Why would the CBI do that, Daisy? Tell me. You know more than them. Y'all ask me y'all questions. I'm good. I'm going over to the YouTube. I'll cut it off right here. I'm gonna put a little.
No,
thing.
they got questions.
I know, but I'm gonna put a little thing
some
right here.
people are saying you're on point. Value increased. Dinar is ready to blow. I mean, I'm not reading the comments.
No, I mean you don't have to. They ain't gotta tell me. I know. I just read it from the zone.
But let's see. And they're just looking for understanding. They're like, why would the ISX not be available to the general public?
Because what they do is called hand-to-hand trading. See, people don't understand this. When there was the stock exchange wasn't done electronically. It was done basically from hand. The person would take an order, they'd run it to another person. Too many hands would take an order before it got to a data entry person. Mm-hmm. So they closed that down so they wouldn't have the spread of that virus, right? Mm-hmm. There's too many hands, right? Too many people in a room together. Mm-hmm. More than 10 in a room, get it?
Okay.
And so to stop all that, they're trying to induct, which they already kind of do regionally, which is regional trade. They're trying to launch that online trading platform through that NASDAQ software that they have. So everybody forgets to talk about that. That NASDAQ software that they have has been trading online for certain regional partners. Mm-hmm. And I know that from my contact. You know what I'm saying? Right. So they haven't shut down. They've been going fine. But they're not trading hand to hand. So as a person that's not holding an account, no, they're not going to risk their lives to buy you a couple shares of Pepsi. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not going to happen.
Okay. This is from Janelle. In your opinion, from the time the cabinet is voted in, budget is voted in, and Kuwait is paid, can all of this be done within days and RI even with Ramadan?
Before 23rd? No. You need at least 45 days for that to happen. At least.
45 days?
Yeah. From induction, passing, paying, in the Gazette, done, 45 days. At least. Maybe 50. I don't know. I'm just being realistic. You got to remember, all the U.S. constitutional paper, it talks about the remnants from Iraq to Kuwait, talks about next year, not this year. So knowing what we know about the budget going in there this year, for us as being an investment holder, is basically a blessing. For someone to come on here and talk about, man, I can't wait 50 days or 60 days, man, then give me your currency. You don't deserve to hold it anymore. I'm being honest. Because, dude, you are so close to something happening that's real, I don't even know what to tell you. Something that's real. For it being worth something nominally that they actually talk about.
This is also Janelle. Do you believe special grades will be voted at the same time since Allah?
Yeah, I expect Alawi to take me and Dennis talk about this all the time, Mr. Frazier. I expect Alawi to be CBI governor. I expect Allah to be gone now. He's gonna move into that role as Arab finance manager. That's his out. He's gone. I'm not saying he's gone now. I'm saying that's the way he's gonna exit peacefully. I see people getting shuffled. It won't be a hassle because dude's got another job. Like it's not like they're replacing him. He's done. He's done his job.
Okay. Did they unpeg from the dollar yet? Oh no.
You saw Daisy?
No.
She looked at me like, what? Are we done?
Are we finished or are we done? Okay. Daisy, I don't have time for that. Let me see, I lost my place. Looking at y'all.
I'm trying to get in there now. Let me see how you can.
I'm at 740 right now.
What's going to happen with Maliki? Well, there was an article out that they were trying to grant, Mahdi was trying to grant the people with the new entrance of the new PM amnesty. But who knows until he gets hired? I mean, that's not really my concern. My true concern is getting everything passed and going forward so that the people who've been suffering can get paid.
So, when is the best time, or does Brando think the dinar will be internationally recognized?
As soon as they pay Kuwait, it's Article 8. It's Article 8 recognized.
Okay.
And that payment's published in the Gazette. Now they could hide that, but I don't think they will. That's going to be something historic. People are going to talk about that because they talked about the historic last payment that we're going out this year.
So before Ramadan, we could probably have a fully seated government.
Yeah. Yeah, for real, for real. I expect the government, and I don't expect the government to go into some type of rest during Ramadan. That government's going to be working during Ramadan.
So today's the 15th, so that's 8 days. Kuwait being paid?
So you said that'd be the 23rd, so give them another 10 days, May something. I mean, I could see Kuwait being paid middle of May.
After Ramadan?
Mm-hmm.
Or during?
Or during sometimes.
So you think they'll do it during? Huh?
Yeah, they want to be international. They ain't got time. Listen, they did it. Listen, I don't know if y'all know this, but their OPEC deal, they under-negotiated their deal. They sent the C team. The C team, you can go look this up. It's on OPEC's deal. I got the report. If you want to see it, look it up. I'm not sending anybody no more reports. I'm sorry. It just gets old. I report it to Patreon. I'm tired of doing reports 3 times a day. But the idea is, not me in a negative way. I don't mind doing it. But if you want to call me and say, B, talk about this a little bit, I'll talk to you. But OPEC, what happened was Iraq sent their C team. The university from Basra said they didn't send her. And guess what? They were supposed to negotiate 23% plus Kurdistan region's level of production. The C team went, and God knows if they went down there and got drunk, messed around with some blonde-headed chicks. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Okay, but guess what? They went down there and negotiated less 30% of their oil production, plus whatever oil prices are right now. So they negotiated less and got less production. So they're in trouble.
Yeah.
They only got a few more days, so guess what? The Iranian oil deal is up, coming up next month. No one's talking about that. Those are the things we should be talking about.
When can we get the CBI to accomplish this?
Just the fact that they're even talking about it, I think it's an accomplishment now. Now, I think it's going to something that's going, because the auctions have stopped, that means they're trying to increase the value of the dinar right now. I just think now it's more of the timing of the PM going in so this payment to Kuwait can go in so they can hold off paying off the auctions and not having any temporary auctions go in to stabilize the government since oil prices are too low. That's my opinion. I'm not an economist, so don't take my word for it. But I pretty much think that's what it is.
All currencies will become valuable if the central bank collapses. I'm new here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what you're trying to put into the theory is that if all the central banks under this Rothschild thing go bankrupt, which I don't believe in that, but whatever. If they all did and somehow they were backed by something, and you're probably thinking gold is a pretty much good thing to back it by, then somehow your golden zombie theory will run rampant and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's absolute crap. That ain't gonna happen. There's not gonna be any golden zombies. I don't believe in any gold-backed system. That ain't my thing. I do believe in an asset-backed system. There's a different story to that, but not gold. Gold is trash as far as an asset. As far as to back your whole government, the largest economy in the world, much less China, much less everybody else. So it ain't gonna happen, but whatever. We could argue that in a different time, a different place.
There's more questions. There's plenty.
Sure, shoot. I'm here for you. We don't do this often now, so let's do it.
What time did the parliament resume last year after Ramadan? Do you know?
They didn't stop. They worked through Ramadan. They only took a couple days off at the very end. Shut up, Daisy. Doing a report.
G. Iver. Moo, come here.
You want to not do a report no more?
Say, Mama, give me that key. Okay.
Clem.
What's wrong?
Someone just asked me about Clem, Clement, and Trump.
Oh.
perfect, love, no fear, honey. I don't get into religion on my channel, and I don't get into politics. Politics don't pay me, and God don't tell me how God's gonna pay me. I do the research. I put in the work. If you want to know something, do it for yourself. God only helps those that helps themselves. I don't believe in prophecy like that. It's just not my thing. I don't mean to offend anybody, but God ain't gonna do it for you.
What's gonna happen to Maliki?
Whatever happens to him, whatever deal he negotiates, he's a powerful man.
Ain't he hiding somewhere? No.
No, he's there. You're talking about Sauter.
Oh, no. I thought nothing.
You're talking about Sauter. What sticks of cryptos are y'all investing in once the dinar hits, Miss BB? I'm going with Litecoin and XRP. What are your crypto hits?
Right now, I'm in Litecoin. You know, Litecoin had dipped almost to $25 at one point in time, so that was a good steal. And now it's at what, $41, $42. So, I've been stashing a little bit of that here and there. Ethereum, I always like to see it drop, and I pick up some. Like, you know, if you stick with Coinbase, stick with the legacy coins. The top three used to be, when this all started out, was Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. And then outside of that, of course, XRP. So stick with what you see on Coinbase for the most part, and stick within the top 10.
I just said David Rockefeller died in June last summer. He owns Russia Bank, which was sold 2 days ago. Can you produce the paperwork for that and show it to me, and then I'll believe it? No offense to you, but I only want to see paperwork. Everything I do now is attached with some type of proof. I don't go with prophecy, I don't go with prophets, and I don't go with bullshit. Only thing I want to talk about is what I can prove from some source that I can get it from. Sorry, I love all y'all, but I don't want to hear that no more. I only want to see what's tangible. If it ain't provable, I don't want to hear it. And I got all the docs. I got all the docs about just got named with Trump and Obama and 3G. I got that doc. I got all the docs. But I need proof. Proof, and I can research it, then we'll talk. But don't cloud my space with sensationalism. Daisy does that enough. Could Ramadan be used as a celebration? Joe Williams, as much as Christmas can be. Great show. Thank you, Gerald.
Did you answer Carol's question? In your opinion, once they vote for the new PM and cabinet, will they continue to work during Ramadan? Like
They will. They're going to work. There's stuff to do. They got a lot to do. So this Pompeo saying, I don't know where Pompeo said this needs to be done by May 1st bogus. I don't know where Pompeo said it needs to be done by May 1st anywhere. I've never seen that in writing anywhere. And Frank, if you could show me that where he produced that somewhere, show it to me, please. I'd love to see it. Mr. T, April, how do you feel about Nesra rainbow currency? She doesn't know what that is, y'all.
Who's Nesra?
Y'all, she doesn't know what that is. She's not into it like that, y'all. Don't.
Is that
I'll tell you later. Nesra Jesra is. Okay. She's not into it like that, y'all.
Judge wants to know who would buy dinar. What would you buy, dinar or dong right now?
If it was me,
he's asking you.
Dinar. I would. Because I think you can buy it. Hint, hint.
What you mean?
Just saying.
You think you can buy it? Hint, hint. You don't think you can buy a dollar right now?
I don't want to talk about it on air.
Oh. Okay.
I need to search that out. That's my show for.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Clyde.
How long can they have this hidden budget without enacting it?
They ain't got a hidden budget. They got a budget. They didn't enact it.
So we know what's in the budget?
We know what's in the budget. I've seen the budget. I haven't seen it. I've seen bullet points in the budget. HCL, Article 140, paying the salaries. We've seen all that. All I need is paying Kuwait. We've seen it. I just need to make sure it goes through.
Well, you answered Andrew's question, but he's asking, Mr. Brando, estimate 50 to 60 days when this could possibly start happening. I thought you said 45 days.
I ain't, no.
Like it could.
Don't tie me in any day.
Not that.
No. I'm just saying.
It could possibly.
No, I don't even want to do that now.
Okay.
I'm not even telling you a number. Figure it out. No, I don't do dates. I don't do rates.
I like this viewer's name. Listen, Linda, listen. That's her name. So she says, how close do you think we are?
It's closer than we were a few minutes ago.
Okay.
I'm not doing dates or rates. I'm not a soothsayer. I can only give you my idea of what it is, and I'm not doing that. Too much hate mail.
Melvin asked, did you hear about the WTO and IMF paying off 171 countries' debts? Did you hear about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Thank you, Kawhi, and coffee. I like coffee.
Is there any
Pete Vega, it's happening now. Live video, Dinar chat. IQD, Dinar chat, currency exchange. Hey, Pete Vega, if it was happening now, don't you think I'd be at a bank? You're a tard. Get out of here.
Oh my gosh.
Pete Vega, what a tard.
What time was it?
We got 7:59.
Okay, so dang, I lost my train of thought. You're laughing at
I
something.
want to go to his channel.
Oh, did you hear about the WTO and IMF? Oh, I told you that one, right?
Sabrina Johnson, President Trump has zero input into the actual revaluation to
Did you?
the Iraqi dinar. I don't know where you got your information from, but think about it. Before the country went into a disarray, don't you think he'd had a total injection of new millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires? If he could have, it probably would have saved his rerun for the presidency. No, he doesn't have anything to do with it. I don't know where y'all get this information from. And I can even prove it to you. If he did, then why would they make the central bank totally independent of the GOI? So if they're independent of the GOI, which they're only beholden to the actual finance minister of Iraq, why wouldn't they be inherently blessed to be totally entitled to President Trump? They're not. It was posted to my page, Frank Nino. What page? I got like 5 of them, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
Is there a way to pay Kuwait off without ceding the government?
No.
Okay.
Because you can't, and I don't care what anybody says about how they can try to enact some type of article through the finance committee. It has to go through the actual PM. It has to actually go through Parliament. So as Saleh won't be the PM because he won't be acting PM, he won't sign it and he won't let it go to Parliament. So even in case of emergency, even the investment law doesn't cover you going forward. It only pays last year's bills, not this year's bills, which include Kuwait. You sent me a link, Melvin. I'll check it out. Just send me the link.
Oh, Lisa wants to know. Okay, hold on a second.
Daisy just said gang gang.
It is 145 likes, Lisa.
Oh, cool. Thank you guys so much. And I don't mean to be mean to anybody, but I mean, the whole elementary standpoint that you think President Trump's going to take over something and do something different than what's already done, and he didn't already do it in the first 3 years of his presidency on the last 100 and something days, that's kind of crazy. I would have done it the first couple days. I'd have made that money rain through for the next 4 years and made myself recession proof through a whole virus. You see what I'm saying? So, nah, I ain't buying it. Now, I'll tell you this. Can he do something like say, hey, Iraq, I will cut off aid militarily wise to you if you don't do something. Now you're onto something. Now you're thinking. But, like he did to the WHO, but he can't do that to Iraq. You're going to change your currency value. You can't do that because they're involved in the trade like them like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can only manipulate trade policy, legislation, and enforcement. You can't make somebody change currencies.
You want to take that?
Nah, hang out.
Okay, I think we got interrupted when I was asking you a question. Did you hear about the WTO and IMF paying off 171 countries?
Frank, I hear you screaming at me, but no. You want me to see it right now? No, I didn't see it. I was busy writing this today. Sorry, it takes a long time to do this. I didn't see it. No, Frank, I did not see it. No.
Okay.
I get it. No, I did not. I get it. I'm sorry. I know I didn't.
So I was asking you Melvin question for the second time. Did you hear about the WTO and IMF paying off 171 countries?
I think I just said it like 16 times in a row.
Oh.
No, the answer is absolutely
Oh.
not. I was too busy being the 60-page report from the IMF,
Oh,
which
okay.
I figured a whole lot
No,
more
because I was like,
important.
who is Frank? I didn't know when you were talking.
One of our members, he's a good guy. I'm just thinking,
No,
no,
because I was
see it.
asking you Melvin's question. So that's
Melvin and Frank are both asking me, no, guys, listen to me. I was reading through 60 pages in a few hours. I didn't see it. Sorry. No. What did it say? Instead of being so secretive, just put on here what it says.
Well, you asked Melvin to send you something, right? Did
Yeah.
He? Okay, he said he sent it to you in your messenger.
Okay, let me see what Messenger says. I'll look at Messenger real fast, y'all. So if it's something to die for, I'll tell you right now. So Kirby didn't send me. Melvin, I got nothing from you in my Messenger. Let me go to my Facebook page. 2 seconds, y'all. Since people are dying to see this. CBI salaries. IMSS is still assessing Iran's funds. Iran ministers. I don't see what you guys are talking about. Sorry. Oh, hold on. IMF eases the debt of 25 countries. So I'll read it live. The International Monetary Fund announced that it will provide an immediate debt service relief of 25 member states under its trust fund for disaster containment to enable it to focus its scarce resources on fighting the virus pandemic. Executive director of the IMF fund, George Vina, said the executive board of the fund approved today the first group of countries that will be obtaining grants to cover the obligations of serving the debt due to the IMF for an initial period of 6 months. She added that the disaster containment trust fund has resources of about $500 million, including new pledges of $185 million from Britain, $100 million from Japan, and undisclosed sums from China, the Netherlands, and other countries. The fund seeks to increase the amounts available to the fund about $1.4 billion. That provides grants to poorest of countries. Vulnerable members cover their debt obligations to the International Monetary Fund for an initial 6-month period and will help them channel more of their scarce financial resources to vital emergency and debt relief. She urges other countries to help bridge the shortfalls. The IMF says that the first countries that will receive debt relief from the trust fund are Afghanistan, Benin, Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, Chad, Comoros, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, Haiti, Liberia, Madagascar, Malawi, Mozambique, Nepal, Nigeria, Uganda, Sao Tome and Principe, Sierra Leone, Solomon Islands, Pakistan, Togo, and Yemen. So, what do I think about that since they didn't name Iraq or Iran or anybody liking that? I don't really have any thoughts at all about it. They didn't name any countries I'm interested in. Or Vietnam, I have no thoughts at all. Sorry, I'm not. If you could please explain your correlation between the two of those to me, help me out so I would understand better, I would be greatly appreciated. But I don't see that since I just read it and it doesn't name any of the countries I'm invested in.
And then Frank said it was just posted and was put on your Facebook that by Pompeo, he wanted everyone was supposed to be done by May 1st. So no secretive, just a post. I assume you saw.
Nah, didn't see it and hadn't seen it when I looked right now, y'all. Sorry. I can't. If you guys see something ultra important like that and you think that it's totally viable, you guys know the DM, hit me up. I'm not everywhere all the time. I figured the information we were looking at from the IMF was way more valuable because they talked about stopping the auctions, why they're stopping it and how they're stopping it, how legislation behind it, and they cite text of the laws behind it. Why also that they were talking about exchange rate, how they could manipulate it by diminishing the dollar value within the currency. I thought that at this point, I don't mean to be rude, was just a little bit more important. I don't mean nothing rude with that, but just I thought that was big time more important. How many dinars does Daisy have? Enough to buy enough kibbles and bits for the projects.
She don't even need kibbles and bits. How many dinar does the? Oh, okay. That's what you read. All right.
All right, y'all. I love you guys. Shush.
She on a sugar high.
She is. April gave her some strawberry cake that she made earlier, and Daisy just won't stop. Y'all, thank you guys for tuning. Y'all, thank you.
Daisy. Tell him.
Thank you guys for tuning. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the video, thank you so much. I hope to see you guys on next Wednesday. Show's over, Daisy. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. See you guys in a week or two. Daisy's going nuts, so you know what that means. Time to hang out. See you guys later on. Have a great night.